Welcome, Shadow Seekers, to American Shadows, Crimes and Chronicles. Today, we're unearthing a tale that'll haunt your thoughts long after it ends. Whether you're glued to the screen or just listening in, you're in for a wild ride through history's darkest corners. If you're new, hit subscribe to join our mission of exposing America's hidden truths. Regulars, your likes fuel our journey into the unknown. Now, let's peel back the layers of time and reveal the secrets beneath. Ready? Let's begin. They thought MS-13 was a big city problem. They were dead wrong. Hello, friends, and welcome to American Shadows, Crimes and Chronicles. Today we're delving into a tragedy that shook the quiet suburban town of Brentwood, New York, and brought the brutal reality of gang violence to the forefront of national consciousness. On September 13th, 2016, two teenage girls, Kayla Cuevas and Nisa Mickens, fell victim to a crime that would expose the dark underbelly of one of America's most notorious gangs, MS-13. How does a seemingly safe suburban community become a hunting ground for a vicious gang? What drives young people to commit such heinous acts? And how can a single crime reshape the national conversation on immigration and gang violence? Before we dive into the events of that fateful September night, I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to all of you who support our work. Your engagement allows us to explore these difficult but important stories, ensuring we never forget the human cost of violence in our communities. The setting: Brentwood's hidden threat. To understand the significance of the Cuevas and Mickens murders, we need to step back and look at Brentwood, New York in 2016. This working-class suburb on Long Island, home to a large immigrant population, was grappling with the growing influence of MS-13, a gang with roots in Los Angeles and El Salvador. The gang had been steadily increasing its presence in the area, preying on vulnerable young people and instilling fear in the community. Kayla Cuevas, 16, and Nisa Mickens, 15, were best friends, typical American teenagers with dreams and aspirations. Kayla, known for her feisty personality, had reportedly been involved in disputes with MS-13 members at school. Nisa, celebrating her 16th birthday, was an aspiring athlete. Neither girl could have imagined the horror that awaited them on that September evening. The night of terror. On the night of September 13th, 2016, Nisa was dropping Kayla off at her home after a birthday celebration. It was then that they encountered a group of MS-13 gang members. What exactly transpired in those moments remains unclear, but the outcome was devastating. The girls were attacked with baseball bats and machetes, their young lives brutally cut short in an act of senseless violence. The following morning, a passing motorist discovered Nisa's battered body on Stolly Street. The community, already on edge due to growing gang activity, was plunged into fear and grief. The search for Kayla intensified, with families and authorities hoping against hope. Tragically, her body was found in a wooded area behind a nearby elementary school the next day. A community in shock. The brutality of the crime shocked the nation. How could something like this happen in a quiet suburban community? The murders of Kayla and Nisa became a rallying cry against gang violence and brought national attention to the threat posed by MS-13. In the days and weeks that followed, Brentwood became the center of a national debate on gang violence, immigration, and community safety. The case drew the attention of high-profile figures, including then-President Barack Obama and President-elect Donald Trump. It became a flashpoint in discussions about immigration policy and law enforcement strategies to combat gang activity. The investigation unfolds. The investigation into the murders was intense and far-reaching. Local law enforcement, with support from federal agencies, launched a crackdown on MS-13 activities in the area. This led to numerous arrests and indictments, not just for the murders of Kayla and Nisa, but for other gang-related crimes as well. As the case unfolded, a disturbing picture emerged of how MS-13 operated in communities like Brentwood. The gang targeted schools, recruiting vulnerable young people, often recent immigrants, with promises of protection and belonging. Those who resisted, like Kayla, could become targets of violence. A community transformed. The impact on the Brentwood community was profound. Parents feared for their children's safety. Schools implemented new security measures. the trust between the immigrant community and law enforcement, already fragile, was further strained as the spotlight intensified on the area. But from this tragedy also emerged stories of resilience and determination. Kayla's mother, Evelyn Rodriguez, became a powerful advocate against gang violence, testifying before Congress and meeting with President Trump. Tragically, Evelyn herself would fall victim to violence 2 years later, killed in a confrontation related to a memorial for her daughter. The long road to justice. The legal proceedings that followed the murders were complex and lengthy. Multiple MS-13 members were charged in connection with the girls' deaths. The case highlighted the challenges in prosecuting gang-related crimes, with issues of witness intimidation, and the complex network of gang operations complicating the process. It wasn't until 2024, nearly 8 years after the murders, that a significant breakthrough occurred. Alexis Sayans, a leader of the Brentwood chapter of MS-13, pleaded guilty to the murders of Kayla and Nisa, along with 5 other killings. This plea brought a measure of closure to the families and the community, but the scars left by this tragedy remain. National implications. The murders of Kayla Cuevas and Nisa Mickens had far-reaching implications beyond Brentwood. They sparked a national conversation about the presence of transnational gangs in American communities and the challenges of addressing this issue. The case led to increased funding for gang prevention programs and law enforcement initiatives targeting MS-13, but it also raised difficult questions about immigration policy and the balance between community safety and the rights of immigrant communities. Critics argued that the intense focus on MS-13 led to overly broad crackdowns that affected innocent immigrants. Supporters maintained that such measures were necessary to combat the serious threat posed by transnational gangs. A legacy of change. As we reflect on this tragedy, we're left with profound questions about safety, community, and justice in America. How do we protect vulnerable young people from the lure of gang life? How can law enforcement effectively combat gang violence without alienating the communities they serve? And how do we honor the memories of Kayla and Nisa while working towards a future where such senseless violence is a thing of the past? This is American Shadows, where we peer into the darker corners of our nation's past and present. Until next time, remember that even in the face of unspeakable tragedy, communities can come together, demand change, and work towards a safer future for all. The echoes of that September night in 2016 continue to resonate, reminding us of the ongoing struggle against violence and the importance of protecting the most vulnerable among us. As we go about our daily lives, let's take a moment to reflect on the lives of Kayla Cuevas and Nisa Mickens. For in understanding their story, we gain insight into the complex challenges facing our communities and the enduring human spirit that rises in the face of adversity. The shadows cast by that September night are long indeed, and they continue to shape our national conversation on gang violence, immigration, and community safety in ways we are still struggling to fully comprehend.